I guess most of my adult life has been freelancing.
Donna LaCoury is a freelance writer based in upstate New York.
I can set my own hours. I can go where I want to go. I can take breaks when I want to take breaks. And it really alleviates a lot of stress that comes with working in a traditional job. And I feel I can be as creative as I want to be.
She's one of thousands of workers that could be affected by a proposal from Governor Andrew Cuomo on so-called gig workers. Those are people who work as independent contractors primarily for an app-based company like Uber or DoorDash, rather than employees. In his State of the State address in January, Cuomo vowed to explore legislation that would enhance workers' rights and protections for gig workers, who he says account for more than 40% of the state's workforce this year.
It's an economy which has spurred growth and many innovations, but it's an economy where too many workers are excluded from the progress of fair pay and independent contractors. Too many corporations are increasing their profits at the expense of the employee and the taxpayer, and that must end.
Cuomo followed that up in his budget proposal by calling for a task force to come up with recommendations for legislation. New York State AFL-CIO President Mario Cilento called the fight to ensure fairness for gig workers a top priority this year.
They should have the right to a minimum wage and overtime pay, the right to paid family leave, workers' comp, unemployment insurance, the right to organize, and be protected by any discriminatory actions taken at the workplace. Right now, they don't have those protections. It's not right, and it's not fair.
While most interested parties have gone on record as being supportive of the governor's call for a task force, the concern among some has become whether lawmakers will craft legislation that would really meet the needs of the state's gig workers and freelancers. Frank Kerbin of the Business Council of New York State says taking the wrong tactic could disrupt the business model for some app-based companies.
We're hoping that this new economy will, instead of spurring some old habits, will spur some innovative thinking by the legislature and the governor to be just as creative as these new companies, whereas Uber and Lyft and Wag were in coming up with these services. The government needs to meet that challenge and be just as innovative.
Late last year, California passed its controversial AB 5 law. It was designed to increase protections for independent contractors and freelancers working in the state. It limits a company's ability to avoid extending benefits to workers who are not considered employees. But it created a legal backlash from companies like Uber and Postmates, and it has freelancers like Donna LaCoury fearing for their careers.
AB 5 is a disaster. People are losing their livelihoods. We're hearing stories of companies just not even considering independent contractors anymore. They're not renewing contracts. And they're specifically saying, we don't want people from New York, we don't want people from New Jersey, and we don't want people from California, because they know that laws are either being considered there or have passed, like in California.
Many gig workers feel the same way. Some were at the state capitol in Albany recently to make their case to lawmakers.
My problem with that, with Uber, would be if you then become an employee of Uber instead of an independent contractor. As an employee, now they may have to set up schedules. And that's something I couldn't work with, a schedule. Especially if they wanted me to drive at night, which I don't like to. And it would, on days that I can't do it, that would mean I'd probably have to stop driving for Uber if it didn't work in my schedule.
So I just hope that they stand behind us and, and let us continue to be great.
They're just a handful of the thousands of freelance and gig workers urging New York lawmakers to consider any legislation on the gig economy carefully.
New York has to be really careful in how they do this. Obviously, California, if this was a good law, there wouldn't be carve-outs. That's what they have in California. Certain professions are carved out. They are not, they're excluded from the law. And there have been a whole bunch of lawsuits because of that. So if it was good legislation, there wouldn't be lawsuits, there wouldn't be carve-outs. It would just work. And it's not. It's not working. We need something that works.
From the state AFL-CIO's perspective, it's the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. We don't want to bring people who are truly independent contractors into something that doesn't fit them.
Senator Diane Savino, who chairs the State Committee on Internet and Technology, says she's confident the state will come up with effective legislation.
I mean, there's enough of us talking about it now. The AFL-CIO is engaged 110%. They really want to do something. The governor's obviously engaged. The industries are here, you know, the Tech NYC and TechNet, and then their affiliate, you know, app companies. And they all say the same thing. They want to be able to create flexible workforce that has the protections. So if we all agree on that, it shouldn't be that complicated.
As the legislative session unfolds, freelancers like Donna LaQuarrie say they're thinking positively.
New York has a huge creative economy, and that's really important to the identity of New York, I think. And, you know, while we were really nervous, we're really hopeful that people are listening and will do the right thing in the end.
In Albany, I'm Jessica Marshall.